Hello, everybody! Anime Reflux!
Yeah.
Casey's a little bit sleepy, and that might have contributed to me actually kind of vibing with this anime that we did this week. Uh, so, the one that we had for this, what was it? Was it Winter
It was Winter
Sonata?
Sonata. It's
Yeah.
based on a Korean drama of the same name, which apparently was very popular.
Hmm. Duh.
Uh, yeah.
Uh, Zero has thoughts. I also have thoughts.
Impatient is just confused. Honestly, uh, I suppose I can see how this got so popular. It has some promise, but A, it's not my thing, and B, there's no real hook in the first episode. It's a lot of show don't tell, perhaps a little
From
too much.
from what I've looked at, it seems like obviously they made some changes between the original Korean drama and the anime, and I think partially at least the anime assumes you've seen the drama.
Mm,
Hmm. That's interesting
Because
because I thought this is the most self contained single episode of an anime that I've ever seen and felt completely satisfied with just watching this and probably would be fine not watching any more of it and feel like I got a complete story.
okay, when you put it that way, I can see where you're coming from. It does
yeah,
feel complete.
it's I suppose if you take it in that perspective, it's just the fact that there are multiple episodes. How many episodes of this there are?
25 or
26
so?
episodes.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking in the kind of the broader position of there being 26 episodes and this being the first one of that, it doesn't do well as I feel in terms of part of a larger story, but it does do well as a self-contained story.
Yeah. I would probably agree completely with that and say, yeah, it's so successful as being self contained that I do not want to watch anymore because I feel happy about what I've already watched. Well, happy for
So
a certain
either,
definition of happy.
so either way you look at it, it sort of fails as an anime.
Mm, I'm not sure I'd agree with that, to be honest.
I
It,
mean, as a series,
As a series, yes.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
I've not really seen a first episode of something in a long time that has a very distinct theme, and it sticks to that theme throughout the episode, and then you reach a conclusion and it's done.
It
Yeah, with
feels.
no,
If I. I'm gonna. Sorry, my throat's a mess. If, if I wanted to put it in a very vague term that I think would still pretty much encapsulate what they've done here, if most anime are like a novel, this is more like a poem.
Yes.
well put. Yes.
There's honestly probably about three stanzas worth of dialogue in here, so
Yeah? One of them is straight up just a letter.
Yeah. So it doesn't. There's not much to summarize, honestly.
Hmm.
We we have this guy in, I'm guessing, Korea, who just is bemoaning that he ever met the love of his life because all he did was hurt. And so he leaves on a plane to New York and he tries and fails to see him before he goes. And we cut to 6 months later where he's living happily in New York and she's living happily in Paris.
It happen for, again for a certain definition of happy.
Yeah,
not
basically it seems like they're trying to, if they have, they're trying to pretend that they've moved through the 5 stages of grief and have settled on acceptance, basically.
Mm.
We also learned that he appears to be seriously ill.
It seems less ill and more that he's slowly going blind.
Well, he did
It's
collapse at one
he's
point.
slowly
So
going blind, and he seems to have some sort of non-fatal degenerative brain injury to the point where he'll have fainting spells, but no one's particularly concerned that he's just going to keel over one day.
Mm.
Like he constantly talks about how he'll lose his vision, he'll just get lost in a fog and other metaphorical. It uses a lot of It's a very literate anime. A lot of metaphors and literary devices used in the dialogue.
It's a visual short story.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's constantly talking about going blind, but he doesn't talk about like worrying that he's going to die or anything like that. There's no mention of that.
But overall, the episode is basically that. They're both trying to accept and move on with their lives, but they're thinking with some fondness of each other. There's not much remarkable besides that. Just a bunch of flashbacks to their time together and snippets of their life as it is now.
Now,
I love this. I'm just going to say it. I did. I really enjoyed watching this. But just this one episode, I wouldn't want to watch another. It is the weirdest feeling of satisfaction for a thing I've only watched like 4% of in my life.
And I can fully agree with that given your perspective on it. I mean, once again, it's not my preferred subject matter. It's not something I'd like to look into, honestly. But I do see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna mention this, but you know, it's fine that you brought it up too. There's no problem there. Don't worry about it. But yeah, this is literally a thing I think about every now and again because it's going to happen. So that's yeah, maybe this one hits a little close to home, and maybe that's why I'm much more favorable to it.
yeah.
Because, yeah, a lot of the things that he says are things that I've thought before, and pushing people away because you don't want to be a burden to them. Yeah, so this is very good on that front, is what I'll say on that subject. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate that perspective, and given your own, personal circumstances, I didn't like this.
No?
Like I can acknowledge that this is very well made. They very clearly knew what they were doing.
Oh, the animation. We didn't even talk about the animation. That I sat up and took notice when they were in the fucking car on the way to the airport, and the lights were going across from the street lamps, and they bothered to actually do all that stuff. That made me sit up and take notice. Like, they were actually trying, and I was like, oh, okay, we're actually doing a thing here. All right.
It's well made, and you can tell that they definitely put in the effort, and that they knew what they were going for, and it just, I wasn't really in that sort of headspace, I guess, to kind of consume this type of subject material.
Yeah.
And it's also a case where I feel like more than half of the episode is silence.
I feel like that's intentional. Like, it's very much going for
I know
a mood,
it,
but
it
yes.
intentional. But again, I was looking at this from the perspective of, a long-running series, and I felt like they could have probably done more to set up sort of who these people are and why should I care about these people in particular? Why am I going to care about these people going forward? And I get the feeling that in the next episode they're going to go back and go more into their backstory, because from what I read of the brief synopsis of the Korean drama, um, this appears to be flash forward to the future
Yeah,
for their first episode.
which I was not enthused with that at first, but once I accepted I'm not going to watch any more of this, I was like, okay, yeah, let's not mess around then. This is where these characters end up. The, telling that story very succinctly like that, I was into, but yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to go back and be like, hey, this is where they were, this is how they met, and see it. I really don't appreciate the flash forward fucking narrative device. I don't like that. I never like that.
Yeah.
Swearing a lot this episode. I apologize for that.
Is it a different preference in your perspective than in media res?
I'm not a big fan of In Medias Res either, because in both cases, at least some of the story has already been laid out, and you know what's vaguely going to happen. In Medias Res is a little vaguer most of the time. Like, they don't give you all the details that you need to get a full picture of what happened and what's going to happen. But a complete flash forward to the end of the story, you know what's going to happen, and it's like reading the last page of a book at the beginning. I don't. Some people do that. I don't understand why you ever would.
Yeah, there's.
So that's my phone.
I see where you're coming from.
In medias res, it is a very valuable tool to use. I feel like a lot of people use it incorrectly, and that's kind of where that sort of stigma can crop up, because it's just like action battle. It's like, no. The point of in media res isn't necessarily, to get straight into a conflict, but to get to the part of the story that things are starting to happen. And then as we're progressing forward, we learn more about how things got to this point and everything. So we're not just doing build up, and that's a tool for a lot of writers, because typically when you send your manuscript off, the editors and the publishers are only going to look at the first page or two.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an aspect of that.
Well, it depends on how you're going through the system, but that's a much longer conversation.
But that's generally like the rule of thumb, and it's kind of the same in like mangas where you're week to week. You want to make sure you capture the interest of readers so you don't get axed immediately. Especially if you have if you're going with a pilot or something, and you want or one shot, and you want to get that one shot made into something bigger. This though is a very different case, because it is a Korean drama, which was, from what I can tell, more chronological. And the adaptation into an anime had them do a big flash forward first, and then it's probably going to go back and then tell the story of the Korean drama and how it got to that point.
And we've been over this already. It makes it a wonderful one-shot if you just want to look at this episode on its own. But there's a reason that you would do something like this, and I don't think that it accomplishes what we were wanting, what they were wanting for it.
Yeah. Like,
there are episodes of anime that will make me stop and go, this episode is, like you said, a poem. This episode is something that is more than just an episode of an anime. It has something that it's trying to say, and it's succeeding in saying that. Usually that episode, though, is not the first episode.
Yeah,
Usually
this is a bit of a strange circumstance here.
Usually it's either somewhere in the middle as part of a culmination of things, or even the final episode as something that you leave off with.
Yeah.
It's a weird, yeah.
So overall, pretty mixed feelings for this show. We can appreciate the first episode, which is what we always watch on this show, but none of us, whether we liked it or not, have any inclination to watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of ties into why I'm thinking it is partially relying on the pre-existing drama, because that's where it's going to get its audience from.
Yeah. But that also is a very strange thing to lean on, just because those people have already seen this story. But I don't know. It seems like an odd thing to do just in general, but then again, we have the anime to live action adaptations and stuff, and that's also weird.
Adaptations will always be strange in some respect.
Yeah,
again, this is the original series is so big that there is a statue of the main characters on the island at the spot where they first kiss.
Oh,
like it
kind of like having a statue of Ross and Rachel in the middle of Central Park, but I guess
it is. The series is it's been adapted into the anime. It's been adapted into a stage musical. It's considered to be the Korean drama that launched the Korean wave throughout Asia and worldwide. It's a big one.
Okay.
This is just a small part of the bigger thing.
Yeah. I guess I was being a little too flippant with the Friends joke, but yeah, it's
like having the Rocky Balboa statue.
Yeah. Well, that's also a little flippant because, this is a romantic drama, not sports.
But it was something also that had a lot of impact.
Yeah, I guess.
So, yeah, this is a good episode to watch. Just don't feel like you're gonna be watching the rest.
Yeah, watch this. Seriously, I 100% recommend this one episode, but
I feel like the more you watch the rest of the series, it will detract from this episode.
Yeah. God, it was good.
Which is a weird thing to say.
It's strange how into this I was. I was nothing on this. Zero expectations going in. It's going to be slow, plodding, romantic drama, yada, yada, yada. No. It wasn't even that. The romance was literally not there anymore. It started at the end, and that was what made it great.
So, I rolled us a new number.
All right.
25.
Why?
What?
No,
that's
that
Zed.
would be Z. Yeah. Okay, let's
Zed. With a duh at the end.
3,
Please.
4, 5, 11.
11. And we get number 7, 11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is Zetai Boe Leviathan, or Leviathan the Last Defense.
Oh boy, I'm seeing pretty girls with wings.
Oh no, even worse than I thought.
This story is set in Aquafall, a fantasy world abound with water and greenery and populated by dragons and fairies. Meteorites suddenly bring forth evil creatures that threaten all living things on the planet. The fairy Syrup, a assembles the Aquafall Defense Force with 3 girls of the Dragon Clans as recruits. The story follows Syrup and the Dragon Girls Leviathan, Bahamut, and Jormungandr as they work together to battle enemies and grow up.
God damn it, Japan, you and your mishmash of Western myths and legends. I hate it so much.
Are they full length?
Yeah, they're 20 minutes per episode. 13 episodes.
The comments say
spring 2013.
Well, Casey, are you going to use your veto?
Someone in the comments, I'm going to put it on my watch list. Someone says, how was it? Like, fucking 3 years later, and he's like, I don't know, it's still on my watch list. Okay, that's not especially helpful, but amusing.
Okay, so I saw this bit of a review. When an anime serves as a prequel for an Android-based RPG you've never heard of, chances are good that one shouldn't go into the series expecting much more than a 4-hour commercial for the game it's advertising.
What month is it?
May.
You're welcome, Veto.
All right, then.
All right. From the top?
Yes, from the top.
Is it
20.
just-
Did you say 20?
20.
20. Okay.
And thus we avoid Leviathan, Bahamut, and Jormungandr. And their leader, Syrup.
You.
Oh, me. Which one? How many?
20,
You. How many?
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's shortened that I can narrow it down. It's 23. Kenji's going to be livid if we land on Ultimate Muscle.
10.
5, 6, 7. Darn it. We missed it. Okay. Yumi Monogatari. Ocean Story?
Okay. This one also has skimpily dressed girls, but alright.
Oh no.
Marin and her sister Urin live in the sea. In the sea, not by the sea. One day they find a ring fallen into the sea. They get out of the sea. Stop saying sea, please. Summary. And meet a girl, Canon, the owner of the ring. Canon tells them she doesn't want the ring anymore because it was given by her boyfriend, whom she just broke up with, and she throws it into the forest. Marin thinks Canon is still in love with him and looks for the ring with her sister, but Urin accidentally breaks a seal near a shrine. What is this girl about?
It's a kids' show, apparently.
Like, they find a random ring, meet a random girl who apparently owned the ring, and she's like, no, my boyfriend gave that to me and he sucks, and she throws it away, and she's like, no, she must really still love her boyfriend that I've never met, this girl that I also have only just met. What?
We could also just call it a sea story. Okay, so this is supernatural drama, magic, romance, fantasy. Yeah, all the good tags. 2009 anime, 12 episodes. Didn't get another season, it looks like, for obvious reasons.
This is, according to the comments, this is not part of the Monogatari series. Fair enough.
The anime is based on a pachinko game manufactured by Sanyo Busan.
Vito, you have betrayed me.
We got a pachinko game. We went from a crappy Android RPG to a pachinko game.
One of the comments literally says boobs, boobs, and more boobs. This is supposed to be a kid show. well, Japan, so it's how they roll. But still,
Don't you know that their children are just boobs?
Well, I could veto this, but odds are good that I won't be here when we're watching it. So,
I mean, next time we record is either going to be next Sunday or the Tuesday following. So this is better than good odds that you're going to be here. Just saying.
Is this going to be a double veto?
if we land on Chubra after I veto this,
Oh, hey, is there a PS2 game for this?
Apparently, I was totally right, by the way. Comment on the first episode. She doesn't want the fucking ring. Let it go. Damn, son, you're just annoying her.
yeah, just not worth vetoing, I'm afraid.
Oh, no.
I found the game on PSP.
Oh, it's a PSP game. Even more portentous.
Patchy
But
Para Slot Patchy Slot Super Umi Monogatari.
Zero, why don't you roll again just so we see what we would have done?
No, that's cheating.
I don't think you want to know.
Oh, I do.
No, we're not doing that. You
We're
didn't
not
want to
gonna do
veto, so we're doing Umi Monogatari that is totally not part of the Monogatari series, whatever that is.
Monogatari is just Japanese for story.
I mean, yeah, but it's a series of, like, whatever. All right, so yeah, that's what we're doing next week. We're going from one of my favorite single episodes of anime to, well, technically not anime, it's Korean, to this gambling game tie-in with tits and obnoxious girls trying to foist rings off on people that are just trying to get over a breakup. Woo. Bye, everybody.
Oh, by the way, Zero, you mentioned something at the start of this episode. What was it? About an episode just setting a tone all throughout. I recall one episode that did that, and it involved rabbits.
I knew he was going there. I did.